A man is sleeping on the lap of a beautiful, voluptuous woman. Nearby, someone delicately cuts his hair, while a group of people lurking behind a door watches intently, their faces filled with caution and anticipation. What kind of story does this scene tell? This tale is one of the most dramatic and cautionary stories in the Bible. A story of passion, betrayal, and the devastating consequences of human weakness. In the ancient land of Israel, during the time when judges ruled the nation, there lived a man named Samson. He was no ordinary man. He was gifted with extraordinary strength and a divine purpose. From the moment of his birth, Samson was dedicated to God as a Nazirite. This vow meant he was to abstain from wine and never cut his hair. His uncut hair was the symbol of his unique covenant with God and the secret of his supernatural strength, given to help liberate the Israelites from the oppression of the Philistines, their greatest enemies. Samson's life was marked by astonishing feats of strength. He tore apart a lion with his bare hands and even slew 1,000 Philistines using only the bone of a donkey. These victories made him a celebrated hero among the Israelites, but also a prime target for the Philistine rulers, who were desperate to uncover the source of his power. One day, Samson fell in love with Delilah, a woman from the valley of Sorek. Seeing an opportunity, the Philistine leaders approached Delilah with a tempting offer. Uncover the secret of Samson's strength, and they would reward her with a fortune. Driven by greed, Delilah agreed. She began to manipulate Samson, coaxing him to reveal the source of his power. Time after time, Samson teased her with false answers. He claimed he would lose his strength if tied with fresh bowstrings, then with new ropes, and finally if his hair were woven into a loom. Each time Delilah tested his claims, and Samson broke free effortlessly. But Delilah was relentless. Day after day, she pressed him, questioning his love and wearing him down. Finally, Samson yielded. He confessed that his strength lay in his hair, a symbol of his vow to God. If his hair were shaved, he would become as weak as any other man. As Samson slept, Delilah called a man to shave his hair. In that moment, his strength left him, and he was powerless. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and dragged him to Gaza. There they chained him in a dungeon and forced him to grind grain, a humiliating end for the mighty warrior. But the story didn't end there. As Samson's hair grew back, so did his resolve. The Philistines, unaware of the significance of his hair, mocked him during a grand celebration in honor of their god Dagon. They brought him to the temple to entertain the crowd. Blind and humbled, Samson asked a servant to place him between the central pillars of the temple. In his final prayer, Samson called out to God, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." God answered his prayer, and with one last surge of strength, Samson pushed the pillars apart. The temple collapsed, killing thousands of Philistines and their leaders. Though Samson perished in the rubble, his final act delivered Israel from its enemies. Now let's talk about this breathtaking painting by Peter Paul Rubens. Created between 1609 and 1610, this masterpiece captures the pivotal moment of Samson's betrayal. Rubens, a renowned Flemish Baroque artist, was known for his dynamic compositions, rich colors, and the sensual beauty of his figures. In the painting, Samson lies asleep on Delilah's lap, his vulnerability emphasized by his powerful but slackened physique. Delilah is shown with her breasts exposed, a representation of both vulnerability and seduction. Her expression is one of conflicted emotions. She appears tender yet guilty as she facilitates Samson's downfall. A young man is seen cutting Samson's hair, his crossed hands symbolizing betrayal. This act signifies the stripping away of Samson's divine strength. Notably, statues of Venus and Cupid are present. Cupid's mouth is bound, suggesting that love can lead to silence or complicity in wrongdoing. The Philistines lurking in the shadows reflect the looming threat and treachery. When I saw this piece at the National Gallery in London, the contrast between Samson's physical strength and his emotional vulnerability, along with the symbolic betrayal expressed through the crossed hand gestures during the act of cutting his hair, made me reflect deeply on the weaknesses of human nature and the sorrow of betrayal. Beyond that, it further deepened my admiration for Peter Paul Rubens. What about you? How do you perceive love and betrayal, as well as the weaknesses inherent in human nature?